Most Muslims fundamentally misunderstand the nature and history of Zionism. Zionism seeks a Jewish homeland in Palestine, but securing that homeland doesn't just mean destroying the population that's already there. It also means destroying any kind of genuine Muslim political unity. Up until World War I, Palestine was controlled and protected by the chief Islamic empire, which was the Ottoman Caliphate. It was this caliphate that provided a real foundation for Muslim political and civilizational unity. Zionists then created a plan to destroy the caliphate. By the time of World War I, the Zionist lobby had already established strong influence over U.S. foreign policy. The lobby then made an agreement with Britain, which was at war with Germany and the Ottoman Empire. This was World War I. The Zionists promised to bring the US into the war on the side of Britain to enable Britain to defeat Germany and the Ottomans. But in return, Zionists demanded a British commitment to strip Palestine away from the Ottomans and allocate the land for a future Israeli state. The British were also expected to divide up other Ottoman lands into weak quasi-states like Syria, Iraq, Saudi, and Lebanon. The purpose of dividing up the Muslim lands into these quasi-states was so that they could easily be bullied and controlled by the British and the future state of Israel. The British agreed to this plan and expressed their agreement in the famous 1917 Balfour Declaration. Zionists brought the US into the war, and this resulted in the defeat and destruction of Germany and the Ottoman Caliphate. The Caliphate was formally dissolved in 1922. Meanwhile, Israel was created over the next 3 decades with British assistance. Now, what's significant for us today is that the continued existence of Israel doesn't merely require the one-time destruction of Muslim political and civilizational unity. It requires that this unity never return. This is because unified Muslims are capable of defending Palestine and resisting Israeli control. So after destroying the caliphate with help from the US and Britain, Zionists have sought to prevent all Muslim efforts to reconstruct unity through political, military, and economic alliances. This was spelled out very clearly in Israel's Yinon Plan, published in 1982. Zionists carry out this ongoing attack on Muslims with the aid of the United States and Britain. Destroying Muslim unity was a major aim of the 2-decade-long war on terror, including the US invasions of Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria. It's also the aim of the Abraham Accords. Muslim unity is, frankly, a threat to Israel. This is why Zionists have committed so many resources and so many campaigns over the decades to make sure that that unity never happens. The struggle against Zionism is not simply about defending Palestinians. Rather, it's about regaining the unity and power that was stripped from Muslims with the fall of the Ottoman Caliphate. Nowadays, you have some so-called Muslim groups like the Medkhalis who are pushing for normalization with Israel. Not coincidentally, the Medkhalis are constantly attacking the concept of the caliphate and smearing any Muslim who calls for reestablishing the caliphate a terrorist. But the point is, when the Medkhalis call for normalization with Israel, they're not merely stabbing Palestinians in the back, they're also sacrificing the future of Islamic civilization and the entire Ummah.